Let's get right to it. The person I've been waiting for so long to talk to, the awesome, the amazing Martha MacCullum, Fox News, host of the First 100 Days, which, of course, is on right here in St. Louis at 6 p.m. Great show, great host. So nice to have you on the air with us, Martha MacCullum. How you doing?
What a nice introduction. Good morning. I'm doing great. How are you?
Doing great. I have been, and we have been huge fans of yours for a long time, and of course, watch you with Bill Hemmer. Used to catch you after our radio show, and just so solid. And you actually came from the financial world, correct?
I did. Yeah, I covered Wall Street for many years for CNBC, and yeah, that's my journalism background. But I've always been very interested in politics and covering presidential politics all throughout, from a financial perspective and political perspective. So, covering this 100 days, I don't know, I don't think there's ever been a story quite like this. So, this one's keeping us busy.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I know you were important. You worked for NBC for a while there as well.
I did.
And how did you guys? Well, you had to have known, but when you came up with the First 100 Days show. Wow, how prescient, because you guys because every day has got to be crazy.
It really, I've covered several presidencies over the course of my reporting career, and this is just astonishing. Just the level, we call it sort of drinking from the fire hose. It's just the amount of information that's coming at us and coming at all Americans is pretty astounding. And, they're hugely controversial, so there's absolutely no shortage. We're covering it really throughout the whole evening, the first 100 days, but it does help us to have that focus because it helps us bring our viewers, I think. What we're trying to do is kind of cut through some of the haze, too, because there's a lot of hysteria that's going on. We're trying to really boil down to what is actually happening, what's the policy, how's it affecting people's lives, and, of course, cover all of the drama as well, but try to keep it in a little bit of perspective.
Yeah, I have to tell you, your coverage, even throughout the entirety of the campaign, as it has been in the past, has been, when Fox News talks about being fair and balanced, I think you hit that right on the head. We don't need, I happen to I have a conservative talk show. I'm a right-wing kook, and I'm very proud of it. But but you know what? But I don't need to have everything told from my perspective when I watch the news. All we want is the other side of the story, both sides of the story, and you really nail that down, even with the show, The First 100 Days, where you're really, the balance of the coverage is amazing.
Well, thank you. I look at the evening, and we follow out of Brett Baer, which, of course, is, the most highly established political program in the evening that is such a program of record. And so then coming out of that, we're trying to kind of do a little more analysis, perhaps, and, kind of let that door open up a little bit wider in terms of interpreting what's going on. And then, we've got O'Reilly after us and in through the evening, and Tucker and Sean. So I think it makes for a really great night of being, drilling down and kind of really getting a good handle on what's going on out there, because it is extraordinary. I was just reading this morning New York Times Tom Friedman's column comparing what happened on November 8th with the election to what happened on September 11th, and saying that we've been attacked again. I'm reading through this, and I'm thinking, what exactly is this based on? He's basically, I'm assuming from this article that he has read every transcript and phone call between Michael Flynn and the Russians, because he seems to know a lot more about exactly what transpired in those conversations than anybody else does. Now, he doesn't say in his column that he's been privy to those conversations, but he certainly is writing as if he did. Michael Flynn is claiming that that there was nothing untoward in those conversations, that he did nothing wrong. Now, we just don't know the answer to that question yet, and I think everybody needs to keep their hat on and wait and find out what happened.
No doubt about it. That Friedman article was just unbelievable.
Stunning.
Stunning and unnecessary. You could talk about the seriousness of whatever's going on without having to take it to that level. Quick question for you, though, as you're reporting on this. We know there was a leak, and we know somebody has the information enough to report about what went on in the conversation. Is it too much to expect that there's a strong possibility they actually do have the intricacies of that conversation, but somebody's not telling us?
I think it's clearly possible. The whole thing is, you look at the fact that as the incoming NSA director, I would expect that he's having conversations with foreign governments. Because it's a non-Senate confirmation position, he was the only person who was already in place. So you would want to start, and there's no doubt that they wanted to start opening those doors and having those conversations. We all remember Hillary Clinton hitting the reset button with Russia and wanting to reopen the door to having discussions with Russia. Now, this is, obviously, there's a lot to be concerned about with Vladimir Putin, and I don't think anybody is sugarcoating his history and what we know about him. He's a dangerous person in many ways, and I there's no doubt in my mind that Michael Flynn didn't go into those discussions with his eyes wide open.
Right.
And many people who know him very well have talked to me about this, including General Jack Keane last night. He has his eyes wide open when it comes to Putin. Whether or not we can work together on a few things is something we've done throughout the course of the history of this country with the Russians. So, I just think that. Yes, and to go back to the basis of your question, I think it's highly possible that those transcripts are out there. Look at what we've already seen from the conversations with foreign leaders, from discussions with President Trump. It's quite clear that there's somebody, and that there's some speculation at this point that is coming from former Obama administration intelligence officials who very much want to keep that Iran deal intact, remember. So their legacy is at stake here, and they need to be talked to about what they know as well.
Martha MacCullum, love talking to you. We're up against the break here for Fox News. At Martha MacCullum, best of luck to you. First 100 days, 6 o'clock our time. Thank you so much.